'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
Bienvenidas al podcast Dos Bold Latinas. Aquí están sus hosts, Jatna Abreu
y Rosibel Madera Vialets, dos latinas feministas born in Santo Domingo y in New York.
Passionate about Latina empowerment, Spanglish,
learning, growth, and so much more.
Hola mujeres, in today's episode we wanted to talk about the holidays and how that plays a part in our finances. Y sabemos que este año ha sido súper difícil para todos. Un año en el que nuestra salud, no solo física, pero también mental, have been tested in so many levels. And while some of us have been able to stay healthy and safe, it hasn't been the case for a lot of other people. Es bien triste que no vamos a poder pasar los días festivos que se aproximan con nuestros seres queridos, como usualmente acostumbramos todos los años. Nevertheless, we have to do our parts and we need to stay home so that we can actually protect ourselves and our loved ones until, the whole pandemic is over. And even though we're not going to be able to be around those people, right, our loved ones, I know a lot of us will still be celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas with our immediate families. And that's okay too. We just have to, make the best out of it. And then también sé que muchos de nosotros seguirán su tradición de cada año y estarán comprando regalos de Navidad a las personas que más apreciamos, aunque sea enviándoles, los regalos directamente a sus hogares. However, we have to be mindful and remember that this year has also affected many people financially. And we think that even if some of us were lucky and blessed and did not experience a job loss, we should still prepare and set up some sort of budget to not overspend this holiday season. According to Deloitte, annual holiday retail forecast, online shopping this holiday season is actually expected to grow 25 to 35% over last year due to the pandemic. Can you believe that, guys? Many retailers have been struggling, even more so the local businesses, right? Like we all know this, they're suffering. And so most of them are actually offering deep discounts earlier than ever to ensure consumers can find the holiday deals on the products they want at the price they actually want to pay. But there is more than saving money during the holidays than just those price cuts. It takes some planning and creativity, and we will give you some tips and, so that you actually can intentionally save money during this holiday season. But before we give you those tips that we actually did research on and found online, primero we want to compartirles algunos de nuestros propios hábitos cuando se trata de ahorrar y planear para los días festivos. And with that, Rosie, let's start with what are some of those habits and experiences that you have in terms of holiday season and saving money?
Saving money. Bueno, yo voy a comenzar con decir que yo soy completamente lo opuesto a Jatna, pero el año pasado aprendí un poquito. Pero vamos a decir, por ejemplo, yo tengo una familia pequeña con la cual yo me junto para las Navidades. Y por esa razón yo siento que tengo que darle un regalo grande. Y crecí con esa perspectiva de que, no le puedo regalar cualquier cosa. Imagínate, si me toca la Navidad en la República Dominicana, ahí es doble el regalo, porque uno cuando va fuera de las Navidades lleva algo. Y para Navidad tiene que llevar doble. So, entonces, yo digo, ¿qué yo hago? Y yo sé que esto no es bueno, pero yo sí uso una tarjeta de crédito. Pero ¿cuál es el gancho? Yo me aseguro de que esa tarjeta de crédito sea una de esas que no me cobra intereses por un año. Así, en los próximos meses, yo la voy saldando. Y a veces sí he caído en ¿cómo se dice? En lo oscuro de que I overspend. Because I'm like, oh, you know, I could just pay it later. But then when I look at my statement, I'm like, whoa, I spent all this money. Pero sí he tenido que aprender a que, ok, para yo dejar de hacer eso, de que no me vuelva loca cuando vaya a la tienda, like, ay, a fulanita le va a encantar esto, y a fulanito, oh my gosh, I gotta have this. Yo he comenzado a hacer más como una lista con los nombres y me rompo la cabeza antes de ir a la tienda, pensando qué es algo significativo. Le pregunto a familiares o a esa misma persona qué le gusta, qué le gustaría, qué necesita. Y después comienzo a pensar cuáles son las tiendas que venden esos artículos más económicos y busco online a ver quiénes tienen los sales de esos artículos. Y ya si yo hago como un mapa, like, ok, tal día voy aquí, tal día allá. A veces hasta pongo en mi Amazon carts a ver si baja el precio. ¿Tú te has dado cuenta cuando tú pones algo en Amazon que te dice, oh, this dropped? Y búscalo en Amazon porque yo sé que, por ejemplo, para Black Friday, para Amazon Prime, yo estaba buscando por mucho tiempo un Ninja air fryer.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. You told me about this.
Yeah, y yo recuerdo que el primer día eso no estaba. Y yo dije, Jana, I don't know why, pero all of a sudden, now it's on my, like, I see
They
it.
know you. They know what
I
you
see
want.
it supuestamente on sale, and I'm going to save $120 on it. So I got it. So that, to me, that's like a little trick. Like, whenever I want something, I'm like, okay, let me make sure I put it on Amazon. I make that list, and somehow Amazon starts telling me, like, it's on sale. I'm like, great, I'll buy it. So those are like little things I've been starting to do to make sure that I stop spending so much around the holidays. And the reason is because, por ejemplo, yo crecí con la tradición de que yo iba con mi mamá a la tienda con una lista larguísima para comprarle a todos. Y no era de que cualquier cosita, like it had to be something que di que, oh, like esto es un regalo. Y, I mean, ya eso yo no lo veo tanto porque cuando yo estaba más pequeña, claro, tenía más personas en mi círculo que eran niños o tenían esa edad de regalar. Ahora que ya estoy grande, en el círculo de mami lo que hay es los hijos y los nietos. Y los regalos no es solamente uno, son 3 o más. O sea, yo me recuerdo que el primer año, con su primer nieto, ese arbolito estaba lleno de regalos. ¿Y para quién eran? Para ese nieto. Entonces yo como que crecí con que yo tenía que ser así también. Y que si iba a ser un solo regalo, que yo tenía que gastar más. O que por lo menos fuera de una tienda favorita de esa persona. De que like, oh, wow. Like, you know, like impressing. Like, Jana, you and I were talking about this before we recorded. Que somehow we feel when we give a gift that we need to impress people.
Yes.
And we don't. That's why we spend so much. Because we think that we need to impress people. And we don't. It's just the thoughts. So, ahora, después de que tengo a mis hijos, yo no le quiero dar esa impresión de que la Navidad tiene que ser de muchos regalos. El año pasado yo comencé a regalar mucho menos y traté de explicarle especialmente a mi hijo que ya entiende de que también podemos crear experiencias con los regalos. So, yo le dije, podemos ir al Chuck E. Cheese con las primitas que son 2 con las cuales se junta más, a Crest Cruiser, cine o cualquier cosa que le guste a los niños. So, por eso, más que nunca en este año, a mí me gustaría enfocarme más en los momentos creados. So, por ejemplo, yo sé que yo personalmente me junto con mis padres, mi hermano, para las Navidades y comemos, escuchamos música, hablamos, pero ¿por qué no tener más regalos que sean eso, como crafty, hacer un Canva painting, hacer los gingerbread houses,
Yes.
hacer las cookies, pero así en familia, Y eso es un gran regalo. Eso es un regalo que nuestros hijos siempre lo van a llevar en su corazón y sobre todo los abuelos, de que fueron algo que lo hicieron con sus hijos creciendo. Yo sé que eso no era parte de lo que se veía como un regalo.
Son nuevas tradiciones para ellos.
Yes.
Y yo sé que los abuelos van a apreciar que esos niños, ¿verdad? Sus nietos van a recordar esas memorias de ellos.
Uh-huh. Hasta para los cumpleaños yo me he puesto así también. Porque, ¿verdad? Yo sentía que a mami y a papi le tenían que regalarle algo de que si no costaba más de $100, no era suficiente. Porque, I have to, like, John, this is something else we were talking about. Like, I asked Jana earlier, I'm like, why is it that we give around Christmas time? Like, why don't we give around any other time of the year? Jana's opposite. I mean, if she sees something that she likes for that person, she'll get it for them. Pero a lot of us is just around the holidays, and it doesn't have to be that way because it does add up, so we can show appreciation all year round. Y otra cosita también que hago, que he mencionado anteriormente, que regalo para los Reyes, porque aprendí eso de papi. Y si no estoy en RD ese año, yo sí a veces sí regalo después de Navidad para que sean los Reyes. Y así compro los artículos que ya están en oferta, que me encantan. So, es un poquito de lo que yo hasta ahora he estado haciendo ¿con qué? Con nuestros regalos y finanzas en los holidays. Ahora los dejo con Jana, que sé que ella hace mucho más que yo. y vamos a aprender de qué es lo que ella hace.
Bueno, mujeres, while I don't personally set up a budget, o más bien no lo hacía antes, porque este año sí me gustaría hacerlo o tratar. Una de las cosas que yo hago es crear una lista de las personas a las que les pienso regalar y al lado de su nombre pongo algunas ideas de las cosas que les quiero comprar o que me recuerdan a ellos o que sé que ellos van a poder utilizar. Porque haciendo esto me ayuda a por lo menos tener un estimado lo más temprano posible para saber cuánto a lo mejor voy a gastar. Antes de volverme madre, le compraba regalos casi a toda mi familia, con la cual íbamos a celebrar las Navidades ese año. But now that a lot of my generation actually have their own kids, I have shifted to buying gifts only for kids. Because again, it adds up, and buying gifts for them and also the kids, like imagine, like if it's Latino families, like they're huge, and it's just like there's just no way that we're gonna be able to afford that. Like, and then it forces you to maybe use a credit card, and that's something that we don't, we kind of want to avoid doing. And even if we do, we want to use one like Rosie mentioned that has like not a lot of interest and that you can pay it right away and things like that. Pero doing this, just like buying gifts for the kids only, this not only has made my list a lot shorter, like I said, but it's easier to buy gifts for kids. And again, it has also saved us a lot of money for sure. And then another tradition that my family has started just for the grown-ups is that if we now spend Christmas together, we do kind of like a secret Santa, and then we assign a budget. So like if we say, let's do a secret Santa for all of us, we're going to be together. The budget is like $30 or the budget is $50. Now we know that we don't have to overspend more than $50 for that person. And then that way we would only have to buy, that person, the designated person, a gift, and will still allow us to open presents together as a family, even if you just get one present. Like that's the thing that we've learned to do as a family.
I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to Christmas cards, I usually have my sister take our pictures with my phone and go into like a website such as Shutterfly. There's a bunch of different websites that do this. And then you find a design that you like and you literally like just plug in your pictures that you've taken. And then you print it out, you pay some money to just, you know, print it out and send it to you. And that way you don't really have to hire like a photographer to, you know, for those pictures. Like right there, you're saving money. Like you still want to have that tradition of sending the Christmas cards. So that way you can still take pictures and not have to like have someone come over, pay them money. So, because that's extra money, right? Like you have to pay for the cards, like, I mean, obviously in the shipping, and then you also have to pay for a photographer. At that point, it saves you money for that. So I'm thankful for my sister that she's always like every year when I ask her, hey, can you come over and take some pictures, like some Christmas pictures for us so we can send that out? She's always super helpful. And she's like, oh, for sure. And then we do that. And then another thing I do is that I have a subscription de una caja que me llega. I'm not going to mention the name. I know some of you probably know about it. But it's like for every season. So me llega 4 veces al año. And then for every season, sometimes I get things that I maybe not want to use on myself because, you know, I maybe don't like the brand or like no me prueba or things like that. And so what I do is that I put it aside. I leave it on open. I put it aside. And then when it's, you know, like Christmas and I know that it's a friend may like that particular brand or I've seen them wearing things like that, then, you know, I take that gift and put it in, you know, into a gift box and then I give it to them for Christmas. So like at that point, I'm saving money because I know like I'm giving someone something that I know they will use, and it didn't necessarily like cost me extra money because it already came in something that I get every season. And then for I guess for when we're actually buying, like when I'm buying Christmas gifts, there's also by the way, there's actually apps out there that you can use to save money. Like I don't know how many of you guys have those apps, but you can actually, there's one that's called, and that's fine, like we're not sponsored or anything, but like it used to be Evites and now it's like Rakuten. And you go into that website and then, I mean, obviously you have to create an account. You go into the website, you actually find the stores you're actually going to buy presents from or like, you know, items from. And then they give you like a certain amount of like money back, like a cashback. They call it cashback. And even though they don't give it to you right away, like you accumulate it throughout the year. And I think they send it to you. They send you like a check for what you've saved or the cashback that they've given you back for that store. That twice a year. And then like at that point you're technically, you know, getting some money back even though you spend a lot of money, but at least it feels like you're getting something back, right? So I think that's something that is worth, you know, maybe like exploring if you are someone that spends a lot of money, even not just holidays, but like just throughout the years to buy things.
Tell me not.
Oh,
that's
there you
my
go.
buddy.
Yeah.
My aunt tells me, pero espérate, recibir sus cupones, because all through the year, it's like, espérate, tía, no pague todavía, que yo voy a buscar un cupón. And I go on Retail Me Not, and I always find a coupon. So
there you go. So that's
I
a
forgot
tip
to
right
mention
there.
that, pero when I do my little list and see the stores, I go on Retail Me Not a ver who has the highest discounts.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, oh, this is on sale, but then if you look up the coupons, it comes out to be cheaper at a different store with that certain coupon.
Yes, agreed. And then the last thing is, you know, cuando se trata de decoraciones, yo usualmente trato de usar todas mis decoraciones que he usado los años pasados y a lo mejor cada año le agrego like un par de cosas nuevas que me hagan falta, pero usualmente si voy a comprar esas cosas nuevas lo hago después que se acaba la Navidad porque hay muchas tiendas ponen un like after holiday sale. And then you can find those things that you need like afterwards for like 50% of the even lower.
80.
Of the,
I've gotten stuff at 80.
There you go, even lower. And then you have your, like se acabaron los holidays, but you have that stuff that you can put up and use next year and then you got it for cheaper. So that's another way to save money, girls. And you know, now that we've shared our own little habits for how we get ready for the holidays financially, let us share these tips and tricks we have found kind of like online. We researched and we just wanted to give you more ideas as to how you can save money, even though we shared like our own, you know, special ones, like our own habits, our own experiences in doing these things. But we wanted to give you like a more detailed list of things that you can do to, you know, to save money for the holidays. And we found this online from 2 local banks that put together this article. And we just want to make sure you have that information. So what's the number one thing that people should do, Rosie?
myself personally, set up a holiday budget.
A no-brainer.
So that it comes from creating a budget, of course, and make up your mind. That's the thing, is like making up your mind and sticking to it. I mean, there are budget sheets for free that you can use for this. I know there's something else like the envelope system.
Yes.
I'm imagining myself, okay, I want to make an envelope per person with their name on it, and I know that I'm only going to spend that amount on that person, porque I feel like I'm the emotional one when I'm shopping for someone. Like, oh no, but this person deserves this. Like, of course I would pay this for that person. But no, you're on a budget and you have that envelope that says only $30 for fulanita. Okay, yes. Throughout the year you could get something else. So you could do Google searches for different budget sheets that work for you, but just find a system.
And then the second thing is making a shopping list and sticking to it. So we had talked about this, like Rosie and I already do this, and I mean, not a brainer, right? Like it came up on the list as well. But, after you've already set up the holiday budget that, Rosie talked about, make a list of those people you want to buy gifts for, and just focus on how much you can spend on each one, not on what you want to buy, which Rosie already touched on this. But this is important because then if you don't focus on that, then you can overspend, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yes. I'm guilty of that, ladies. So don't worry. We're in this together. And I like this idea, which I never done, but Jana has done, as you can hear, but is go with Secret Santas, potlucks, and e-cards. So if you have a large family, buying gifts and cooking for everyone can force you to spend more than you could afford. Like, it really does become a burden. And it does take out the joy of giving. So what does that mean? So for holiday meals, plan potlucks. By having everyone contribute, you will save a lot of money and gobs of time and energy. Even though, like, I feel like for us Latinos, we already kind of do that.
Yeah.
Yo no he ido a una fiesta que no te digan, mira, te toca esto, te toca esto, te toca esto, y tenlo aquí a tal hora para cenar.
Yes.
But if you don't do that, do it. And e-cards are another way to save money and time. So rather than buying, cards and paying 55 cents for postage for each one, find some nice e-cards online. They're free and fairly inexpensive to send a holiday hello to far away family and friends. Like, something that I did start doing last year is for New Year's, I was with the kids and I got in the spirit. I'm like, oh, let's make, I told my husband, like, Ernie, take a little video of me and the kids saying, Feliz Año Nuevo.
Oh, I love that.
So I sent that video to everyone. It was really cute and it was like thoughtful, but not to everyone, like to people close to my heart.
People, yeah. And then the fourth thing is, paying cash. So one way to avoid holiday debt is to pay cash for everything. I know once your holiday budget is finalized, just take that amount of money out of the bank and stick to spending, with that plan that you have created. But I know that some people can't necessarily like do the whole like cash thing because they, like if you're buying online, especially this year, just use prepaid cards. It says here, it's a recommendation that like prepaid cards, like if you load it up with like, let's say $500, it's the limit that you have. So it just limits you to spend $500. So, like, oh, I put $500 into that prepaid card. And that's the only thing, it's the only amount of money that's going to allow me to spend. So I have to spend it wisely. So doing things like that can allow you to stick to a budget if you are one of those people that like, oh, no, I'm going to use my credit card and then you forget about it. That's another way to, be able to spend, to stick to that budget.
Yes. And then these are number 5. Be cautious with credit cards. So always use the credit card that offers the lowest interest rate.
Which I know you do, Rosie. You mentioned
I use the one that has no interest rate. I mean,
which is even better.
Yes. Like, I make sure I pay that before my 1 year is over. So it's a good idea to track your credit card spending. The safe bet when it comes to holidays and plastic to use your credit cards for things you would have paid cash for and then pay off the balances as soon as possible when your statements show up. And I do that. Like if I use credit cards que have an interest, I pay them. Like I know I could go to TJ Maxx today y mañana yo estoy buscando a ver si ya yo puedo schedule my payment because
Same
I'm like,
here.
I want my points, pero I could have paid that with my debit card, but I'm just using your card, you know.
Yeah. So guess the points, the perks, or whatever it is the card offers.
So if you're using those type of credit cards, I see, like make sure, like, okay, yeah, you're gonna get your points, but then make sure you pay it off right away. Don't forget.
And then number 6 is avoid last minute shopping. This sounds kind of like, I guess like
I'm guilty of that.
something that like, oh, why would you wait last minute? But like a lot of people actually do that, wait last minute. So this will ensure that if you don't wait last minute, like it'll ensure that you don't pay extra money for something that you could have purchased at a lower price had it been purchased earlier. So if you have your list, and that's what we say, like stick to your list of people, because if at the end of the day, like you out of nowhere, like, oh my God, someone's buying me, that someone's buying you a gift, for some reason you find that out, but you don't have them on your list, that doesn't really mean you have to buy them something. Like I know it sounds like, and we talked about this earlier, I know Rosie brought it up, but they're giving you something, like we just have to stick, like ponerlo en otra mente, that like they're not giving you something because they're waiting for something in return. They're doing it because they really are being thoughtful and they think that you deserve that gift. But that doesn't mean that you have to return that. And even if you want to return it, you don't have to do it during the holidays. You could always do it for like a birthday, or just like, in a different way, in a different occasion. You don't have to include that person in that list that year. So let's just remember that, because that way we avoid those last minute purchases if you know that person is not on your budget this time around.
Right. So another way that you could give back is, number 7 here says, give the gift of your time. For many of us, like if we know, I think for a lot of people that if you know their love language is spent quality time, then take advantage of that and give them that as a gift. So if you want to give someone a gift, but can't afford to buy anything, consider giving the gift of your time. So you could babysit or walk the dog for a friend with an overloaded schedule. An elderly relative might appreciate someone to run errands, do some housework, or take them to an appointment or out for lunch. Handmade gifts are nice too. So for you ladies, that are crafty or bakers, do your thing and give those as a gift. So because here it says, if you're already baking cookies for your family, make an extra batch for someone on your list is pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing to add to that, of that, give the gift of time. I feel like if you are not gonna buy them like a materialistic thing for the holidays, and you don't have that person on your list, like I think that a really good thing to do is like throughout the year, you can invite that person to your house, like for dinner, like, mm-hmm. Oh, hey, like a weekend, like, hey, come over for wine and dinner, for like drinks and dinner, and I'll cook for you. And that right there, my friends, is the gift of time. You're spending time with that person. You're making them dinner. That's considered a gift to people. So just think about that.
I've had to learn that, because to me that wasn't a gift.
That's definitely a gift, and I appreciate that, because when that's one thing, like when I go over to Rosie's house, and she's cooking, or like she's like, sometimes she makes sancocho, which I don't know how to make, but she makes a great sancocho. She doesn't think she does
one today.
Every time she makes a sancocho, we either come over, or she offers like, oh, come get a like una vasija, so whatever, mm-hmm. Things like that. And even though you don't see it that way, that's a gift right there. Like you are gifting your talent and saying like, hey, come, you care about us, so you're offering mm-hmm. us to, to some part of like your time and the food that you made. That's already a gift right there. So I don't know that people see it that way, but when you do those little things, thoughtful things, that's already considered a gift.
Yeah. I mean, I never had that perspective, because that's just me, like my personality. So it just comes natural to me. Mm-hmm. And, I think I learned it from my dad, because that's how he is. Pero that goes into number 8 is thoughtful gifts are always better. And I am a big fan of that. Because for some people it is hard to buy for. They have reached to a point where they have everything they
It's
need.
true.
They
And
need.
most people that we are around of, like our families, very close people, like I mean, like I'm sure like Rosie, and like she knows that me too. Like you think about it, it's just like, oh, she has this, she has everything I could possibly, like, I don't know what I could buy for her, because she has everything. And it's just like thoughtful things that had nothing to do with, you know, like materialistic or whatever, like just little things that might cost you like $5, $3, like are really thoughtful things because you were thinking about that person.
Yeah. That gives you the opportunity to be creative and come up with a thoughtful, simple gift that is also inexpensive.
And then the last thing is taking advantage of special sale days. So there are a few days during the holiday shopping season when deals come around. And so obviously, like a lot of you know this, but like again, we're not being sponsored by Amazon either, but you know, there's that Amazon Prime Day. I know a lot of you use Amazon, so just make sure you take advantage of that. There's a lot of Black Friday deals, you know, the day after Thanksgiving. That's a traditional kickoff. That's the actually traditional kickoff to the holiday shopping season. So they do a lot of, you know, like deals. And I know this year, because of the whole pandemic, they've actually started really early. Like I think the entire month of November has been like a Black Friday thing for a lot of different stores. So make sure to take advantage of those really early, even if that means like buying gifts a lot earlier than you usually purchase them, because that's going to save you a ton of money.
Y no lo siente tanto, gata, no lo tomo.
Yeah, like little by little. And then there's also Cyber Monday, which is the Monday after Thanksgiving. A lot of people take advantage of that. And then they also mentioned that there's free shipping day on December 14. It sounds like it's a thing for a lot of stores that offer online, that offer free shipping with no minimum order, just to ensure that since it's getting closer to the holidays, like you get your gifts and get them on time to the people that, you know, you want to get special things.
Yes, and for last is, you know, we talked about this a little bit, is use apps that can save you money. Like apps, Retail Me Not. That's, you know, it's a classic. I love that. Honey. So Honey is new. My son has been telling me about that, and I was trying to download it on my browser, on my laptop, but I think I need to do it on my phone. I
think Honey is one of those, is a little different than Retail Me Not and Rakuten, in the sense that if you put it on your browser, the browser that you usually use to purchase stuff, and you go into a store, like an online store, right? Like a website, it pops up every time it knows you went into that website. So every time, like once you're at the checkout area, like you're already checking out, it pops up and it finds, it tells you like, oh, do you want me to find all the coupons that may be available for, you know, this order that you're making? And then if you click yes, it just starts like plugging in a bunch of different codes to see if they work for you. And usually it ends up finding at least one or two that you can use, and it saves you money.
That's amazing. Technology, man. The power. Yeah, and the other one's like, how do you say? Rakuten. You gotta see Rakuten.
I mean, I guess que en español es Rakuten, but it's
to
Rakuten.
Get cashback deals and discounts automatically when they shop online, like the way that Jana was explaining. Because, you know, you could download the Retail Me Not and Rakuten app for cashback deals in stores. And also, they make sure they compare prices in different apps to ensure you're getting the best deals. So they do. You heard it firsthand from Jana that has used it, and it does work. I'm still the old schooler that I use Retail Me Not a lot,
but we also heard from you about comparing prices, because you said like, oh, I would go to to find the best prices. So like that's one of the things here that it's recommended.
Yeah, I type in Google like, this is the item that I want, and then you know how it shows you all the stores that they're on sale, and then I'm like, okay, then let's see what coupons there are, and then that's how I break it down. It is time consuming, but it saves you money.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, right? Keeping more money in your pockets.
Agreed.
So, I mean, the last thing that we want to bring up is, which is not a tip or trick, but it is a call to support your local businesses. Many, if not all of them, are going through a lot of hardship, and they need your support. Please shop your holiday gifts local before trying to purchase from big companies that are actually doing better now before this pandemic. I mean, we heard the stats. Online sales have increased 25 to 35%, which I thought would have been like 50%, to be honest. And because in my household, that's how it is.
Yeah, and we're making, and I mean, like, consciously, we're going into, like, those, I mean, again, I'm not saying we shouldn't go into, like, an Amazon or, you know, those, like, Walmart, whatever, like, but these stores are already doing great, and they're doing a lot better now that, you know, we can't go out and go to the stores, like, as much as we could before. And so we are just making them richer, and like our local stores are not really doing good. And so before you go out and try to purchase something online, I really urge you to look at your like local shops. Like there's a lot of I know, like, for those people that live in Grand Rapids, I know we do have older listeners, but maybe, like, if you're in a different area of the United States, like, just go online and try to search for your, like, a list of your local businesses, like, around your area. And depending on what you're buying for, just make sure you look there first and see if maybe they have, like, an online account or, you know, online website that you can buy from, or, like, make some time for you to go, like, even though obviously you have to protect yourself, wear your mask, social distance, make sure that you, like, stop by and see what they have available for the things that you need to buy.
I mean, those stores that you don't find online, those are, like, the ones that you need to support the most, I feel, because those are really, like, small businesses that are local and need your help. And ask if they sell gift cards, because I know many do sell gift cards, but they're not promoted as much. So make sure you ask. And also, when you shop local, you will get more of the Christmas spirit, because you will, you know, go into the store and it's decorated, and you hear the get to talk to those people, even though we need to maintain social distance. But you'll see that if you're buying something crafty, it will be packed so cute with so much love, and that joy that you're giving that person that you're shopping locally with, you're going to transfer it to that person that's the recipient. So local businesses need our help. Let's shop local.
Yep.
So, en conclusión, Yatna, que tú sabes que yo estoy siempre dije con mi llamado a la acción. I think I've gotten this from work.
And you do this so great. That's what, if you guys haven't noticed, this is why Rosie always does our closing for our episodes, because she's great with that. And so I want her to leave you guys with like an inspirational closing, because I know, you know, it's a time, like this, the holiday season, but then it's also a time where like we're going through a lot because of the whole pandemic. It's not over, and we're still trying to take care of ourselves, you know, physically and mentally. And so I know she has a really great message for you guys.
Okay, so como decía, en conclusión, en este año siento que sinceramente podemos iniciar hábitos de hacer regalos con más propósito, más significativos. ¿O qué es eso? Creando experiencias en vez de esos regalos. So, si el regalo no es, porque como había dicho, que uno siente que si el regalo no es un high ticket item, que no está bien. Pero hey, it's okay. It's a purpose. And like the thought that comes, it's not the price. So don't think that you gotta get something high ticket to someone that you love very, very much to make it feel significativo y con propósito. So, otra cosa es que mientras más crezco, veo que como que el espíritu navideño entre ser humano se esfuma, como que todo es un negocio material y que son una gasta de dinero al final del tiempo. So, con esto no digo que no compren regalos, no estoy diciendo eso, pero sino que no rompan sus alcancías. Y chicas, la dejo con esto. Este año haz tu parte de dar amor, paz y extender tu mano al necesitado, sobre todo en este año. Son besos y abrazos. Disfruten mucho este tiempo en familia y seres queridos. Chao, hasta la próxima.
Bye.